Our next guest is sharing some travel tips to help you plan your next getaway.
That's right. Joining us live this morning is Travelzoo senior editor Gabe Saglie, a friend of the show. Hello and welcome back.
You didn't bring the tequila over, ladies?
Well, you know
what happened?
You know what? It's chilling.
It's chilling, yes. You want it nice and
We
chilled
need
if
it
you're
a
going to
little
sip it.
colder for you.
Right. Looking
right.
fetch. We're talking spring break, spring travel.
It's my spring tie, you see.
You're
Not too
very
early to start looking at spring break. You know.
What are the airfares? Talk to us about what is happening.
All right. The appetite continues. You know, we are traveling again in 2024. We set records, particularly on international travel last year. I think this is going to be a year where domestic travel sees a bit of a pickup. A lot of our domestic hotels last year saw a bit of just sort of a softer demand because so many of us were going to Europe.
Yes.
We're going south of the border. We're going to start Asia toward the end of the year, starting to pick up some steam there. So I think this is going to be a good year to look at some domestic travel destinations. And of course, planning is always going to be key. Based on the latest data, 35 to 55 days is a sweet spot to lock in your domestic airfare.
35
so,
to 50, okay.
Yeah, so it's about like a month to a month and a half generally is a good time to sort of lock those down. No need to do it like 3 or 4 months in advance, but I wouldn't wait, more than, a month out to make sure that your airfare doesn't start to creep up.
So we are now planning for March, like mid-March and to mid-March.
And to that extent, what tips do you have for people looking to travel this spring?
All right, and especially if you're pigeonholed to certain spring break weeks and dates, don't wait on the airfare. Book the very first flight out in the morning. Those usually have the best on-time performance.
Yes, I do that.
Avoid weekends. In fact, if you're looking at a lot of these spring break weeks, people are leaving on Sunday and Monday. Leave on Tuesday. You'll see airfare drop considerably on a Tuesday. So it's a bit of a shorter vacation week, but you can save, especially if you're traveling with the kids. If there's 4 or 5 of you traveling. Multiply that times the savings. It's worth looking at taking off on Tuesday instead of Sunday or Monday. And then if you're going to a specific destination, try to pick one, if you don't know where you want to go yet, where their spring break does not coincide with your spring break. So for example, if you want to, the folks up in Boston, they're out in the middle of April. So maybe you sort of travel outside of that middle of April period, because there's less of that local, regional, in-state demand at that particular destination.
Okay.
He's thought of it all.
I mean, he's, of course, that brain of his. What are some of the popular spring break destinations this year? Okay,
I got a couple of East Coast islands for us to look at, beginning with Hilton Head. So Hilton Head last year won based on readership of Condé Nast, the #1 island in the U.S. for its for its beautiful beaches, active wildlife. If you are a birding fan, this is a great place to be. But these beaches are gorgeous. This is the Sonesta Resort Hilton Head Island. Beautiful little area, these tropical gardens that are nicely manicured. A couple of different eateries on site here with a lot of this regional cuisine. Great golfing here, great spa. So it is a great little couples getaway, but also a very family-friendly destination. Rates, if you're looking at that mid-March to late April period, in that $219 to $259 price point, so relatively affordable. You got a couple of airlines out of the tri-state area that'll fly you into the Savannah Hilton Head Airport, and then boom, you're right on that.
How far of a drive is it from the Savannah Airport to Hilton Head?
You're probably looking at about depending on exactly where you're going, a place like this, you're probably a 30 to 60 minute drive. Not too bad. There is a little airport closer to the area. It's just that it's more limited in flight options. Could be a little pricier. Most people will fly into that Savannah Hilton Head Airport.
I love that airport. It's great. It's easy. You can fly Allegiant from this area.
Fantastic.
Next up,
Jekyll Island. All right, so this is, I visited Jekyll Island at the end of last summer. It gets a little sultry in the summer. This is right above the Florida-Georgia state line.
I love it.
There's a cluster of islands called the Golden Isles of Georgia. And Jekyll Island, this is back in the day, in the late 1800s. It was during the Gilded Age where the Rockefellers and the Morgans and the Vanderbilts would go vacation and do a little bit of hunting. Now it's this beautiful historic escape. It's only about 9 square miles, Jekyll Island.
Wow.
And this particular hotel, built back in 1887, they do these great historical tours. You're surrounded by these great little paved paths where you can go, biking and walking. And of course, the waters there are beautiful. And because it gets a little sultry in the summer, as I found out, the springtime is a beautiful time to go. I flew into Jacksonville, just drove about an hour north. You can fly into Savannah as well and kind of drive south. You've got a couple of options there. But yeah, I really like this property. Rates there in the $200, $250 range for our March and April travelers. And again, some great eating there, great hospitality there as well.
Love that. Tell us about Boston.
So yeah, we talked about Boston. I think if you want to do sort of a quick, whether it's by train, by car, the kids are out of school, but you still want to keep it a little educational, a little historic, Boston certainly fits the bill. Again, springtime and the weather begins to really get nice there in Boston. This is probably the best hotel in town, the Fairmont Copley Plaza. 100 years plus of history. JFK stayed here. Frank Sinatra stayed here. Corey is their on-site canine ambassador.
What?
Yes, she is. You can follow her on Instagram. She's a beautiful black lab, and so she will welcome you when you walk into this beautiful hotel. But otherwise, a great back bay location. So if you want to do a little bit of walking to the historical landmarks, to some of the shopping there, some of the eating, hard to beat the Fairmont Copley Plaza. It rates $225 a night. You can see these at 600 plus in the summer season.
Sure.
I'm
So
going
spring
just
offers
to
a great
see Corey.
opportunity. Yeah.
Take us to Mexico.
Mexico. This is where you bring that tequila with you. Yeah, you have to check it through because you can't be bringing your carry-on, unfortunately. You don't want to leave it back at the airport. So this is where I'm going to be going in a couple of weeks. I was here last year on research, doing some recon at the Garza Blanca
You poor thing.
in Los Cabos. And then I told my wife, I think maybe I'm going to bring you this time because it's a beautiful resort. This is the five-star Garza Blanca resort in Los Cabos. What's been happening in Los Cabos in the last couple of years, brand new properties have opened up. The Lux factor is up. So if you're looking for a luxury Mexican getaway, I think it's tough to beat Los Cabos these days. The eating is fantastic. This is a great property. You got 8 pools, including that beautiful rooftop infinity pool there where I get to hang out for a little bit. 6+ restaurants, great spa here as well. But a great starting point, launching pad for some of those great outdoor activities.
And how much are we spending
in Los Cabos? 3 nights in an ocean view room, breakfast daily, $7.99. So when you get to April, prices will drop nicely in Mexico, and they'll continue to soften as you head towards summer. So
Real
nice
quick, Hawaii.
And Hawaii. I know it's a little bit far away, but a lot of us here in the tri-state area are now looking at Hawaii over the last couple of years. Those numbers have gone up. I was in Maui a couple of weeks ago. After those Lahaina fires in August, the call is out to get people back there to travel responsibly and mindfully. But the tourism dollar goes a long way in Maui there. This is the Kaanapali Ali'i Resort right on the northern shores of Maui. Rates from about $425, gets you a 1-bedroom condo. You're right on the water there. And again, you're supporting the economy. Malama is the word to keep in mind. This idea of going there responsibly, mindfully, carefully, but they need our travel dollars. And again, one of the beautiful islands there on the Hawaiian island chain. Maui's a tough one to beat.
Gabe Saglie, thank you so much.
Great to see you.
Always a pleasure.